Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Murray, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of The Gift of Giving. This week we have a very, very special guest. Her name is Brianna Hines, and you represent the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance.
Yes.
And you are the chapter president of the Nevada chapter. Is that correct?
Yes, of the Las Vegas chapter, because
Las
we
Vegas.
do have other chapters like in Carson City and Reno.
Oh, okay. So there are several chapters in the state of Nevada, and
Yes.
then you have a national organization as well.
Yes.
Okay, so you're representing
Yes,
the
Southern Nevada. Yeah.
Southern Nevada Support Alliance. Okay, got it. So please give us a brief overview, Brianna, of the chapter that you're president of. When did it actually start? When was it founded? And give us a little bit of a history of it.
Yeah, so DBSA Southern Nevada specifically was founded about 20 years ago.
Oh,
so our organization, based on the national criteria, is that we were led and created by peers for peers. So everyone who is active in the organization is someone who's living with a mood disorder, whether it be bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, PTSD, all the different,
Yes.
anxiety, all the different conditions. But we do specialize in depression and bipolar disorder, but all diagnoses are welcome to attend, because usually if you have bipolar disorder, you usually have something else along with it. It's not just bipolar disorder.
Standalone.
Yeah, it's not a standalone thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was the catalyst that made you join this organization? You're now the president, chapter
Yes.
president. What made you join it?
Well, so I got diagnosed with anxiety, depression, bipolar type 1 disorder about 8 years ago. So this was when I had just graduated college. I was doing my first year of teaching, and life just kind of happened with the diagnosis. So the first few years were a little rough, but with therapy and medicine, psychiatry, like I was able to get a better handle on it. But it wasn't. This was when I was back living in Maryland, which is where I'm from. So my therapist recommended when we moved here to Las Vegas, Nevada, that I join a support group. So that's how I found DBSA back in 2019.
So you actually founded?
Yeah, or not founded. I mean, like joined the group.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I joined the group in 2019, and then I became a facilitator for the group in 2021 because I was such an avid member, from 2019 even through COVID when we were 100% on Zoom, and then still afterwards. And how I became president was in 2022, the previous president kind of stepped down because she had been doing it for like 10 years. So she was like, I'm moving on with my life. And I was like, well, I want to keep the group going. So I know how important it is, for us in the community, and how important of a resource it is. So that's why I was just like, I was like, I'm going to try my best to keep it going.
Yeah, but I'm going to let the organization die.
Yeah.
Good for you, because you're clearly making a difference with it.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about, before we get into the accomplishments of what DBSA has done, let's talk a little bit about depression and bipolar. What exactly is the difference between the two?
So, well, depression, we know that's more of like the low side of things. So, sadness, hopelessness, crying, suicidal ideations, numbness, like there's so many things that come with just depression. While bipolar, at least when it comes to type 1, because there's type 1 and type 2, with type 1, it's more of the mania, the elevated mood, the grandiose ideas, rapid speech, impulsive decisions. So all these different things kind of like on the higher side. So with bipolar type 1, you have mania and then depression, while with bipolar type 2, it's more of they're on the depression side, but they can still have manic episodes, but they're not as severe as someone with bipolar type 1, because usually if you have like a major manic episode and you have bipolar type 1, you usually have to be hospitalized in a psychiatric facility to kind of help manage it and bring it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeepers. What are the main symptoms? What should if somebody's living with somebody with bipolar, what should they look out for as to the symptoms? And I mean, obviously, if somebody's down all the time, they're depressed. But what can loved ones actually look for clues or hints?
Oh, that's a tough one. So
It might not be easy.
yeah, it's definitely not easy, and it looks different for everybody. So I know for myself personally, definitely like what's the word I'm trying to looking for? Like kind of stepping away from loved ones, like not being as social or not engaging, in things that you normally would do. That's definitely a major warning sign. Um, or the opposite of doing things that are very out of character. So like, spending an excess amount of money. That's something that's kind of common with mania, making these impulsive decisions. Rapid speech, like I said, for sure, if you're having a bunch of ideas and they're not necessarily connecting, you're like, okay, something is going on.
Yes.
Excessive drug or alcohol use also is a contributing factor to both depression and bipolar as well.
Yes.
So definitely that's something else to look out for.
Okay. Now, do people with bipolar, they have trouble admitting that they have bipolar or recognizing that they have
Yes,
bipolar?
for sure. Yeah. Like usually it takes someone on the outside to kind of, if they're not able to recognize it themselves, yeah, usually whoever you live with or, someone who knows you well enough to say, okay, you're acting a little reserved or, you're not being yourself or who is, kind of like, who is this new person that you're turning into? That's kind of one way to recognize that someone, could be going through something such as a manic episode or a depressive episode.
So sometimes it's incumbent on the loved ones to detect the bipolar condition.
Yeah, because like you
And
said,
then,
not everyone's aware, or if they are aware, they might not know that that's what it is.
and then presumably they're the ones that have to confront the individual who's living with a bipolar and say, has it occurred to you might have bipolar? Should we go and get tested?
Yeah, like if something is going on, yeah, like definitely leave it to, the professionals at the hospital or at the psychiatric facility because they would be able to best handle it. And it's kind of hard to get to that point, but when the when the moment kind of presents itself, you'll kind of know, okay, this is out of my control. This is more than, what I personally might know how to handle. So that's when you would have to ask a professional to kind of step in.
What kind of advice would you give to individuals who are either parents or spouses of people who are living with somebody with bipolar? What advice can you give to a parent whose kid's bipolar and or to a spouse who's living with a bipolar individual? Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, definitely, be patient with them, meet them where they're at, whether they're on the low end, ask, how can I support you? That's the main thing is listening, being patient, trying to support them the best you can, not push them too far, try and let them, make the decisions on their own. Because if you, try and force them too much, specifically if they're like manic, they're going to do the opposite. Or like if they're depressed, they're going to get overwhelmed and probably not do anything at all. So it's just kind of like being patient with them, try to get them the help they need. And if they're open to, seeing a professional like a therapist, that would be the next step. So that way that professional can really, analyze the ins and outs and what's going on to see if they need a psychiatric medication to help get everything back in balance.
Wonderful suggestions and ideas for those who are living with somebody that's living with a bipolar condition.
Right.
Let's take a little sponsorship break. Please stay with us, folks. We're going to be right back, and we'll talk about some of the things that DBSA is accomplishing to help those living with bipolar or depression.
Budget deficits, national debt, presidential elections, government shutdowns, global conflicts in Europe, global conflicts in the Middle East, global pandemics, interest rates, rising inflation. Markets go up and markets go down for reasons nobody can control. Don't let the volatility of the stock market determine the quality of your retirement. Your financial strategy can make all the difference. I'm Joshua Dowden. At Priority Wealth Partners, your goals are our goals. We believe people can live better lives with smart financial education and knowledge. We work closely with clients to match strategy with individual needs. Our personal financial strategies have helped investors accomplish their goals while reducing market volatility, and we can help you too. You've worked hard to get where you are now. Your financial plan should work hard for you in retirement. Conveniently located in downtown Summerlin, my name's Joshua Dowden. Call me today for a free consultation. 702-808-6513. That's 702-808-6513.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. And I'd like to welcome back Brianna Hines, Chapter President of Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance.
Yes.
And in this segment, we're going to talk about some of the things that you at DBSA are actually doing and accomplishing to help people who are living with bipolar and depression and their families and loved ones as well. You're doing an awful lot here. So first of all, the group meetings. How often do you actually have the group meetings? First, I think you have brick and mortar support meetings and Zoom meetings. So let's talk about the brick and mortar ones that you have first. And how often do you have those?
Yeah, so we meet in person twice a month. So the first Wednesday of the month, we meet at the Henderson Equality Center. They're also a nonprofit, but they cater to the LGBTQ community. So they welcome all people. We welcome all people. So we were happy to partner with them and happy to let them
host them.
Yeah, host the meetings. Yeah, or have us use the facility for the meetings.
Okay.
So all of our meetings are from 6 to 7:30 p.m. So usually after in-person meetings, we might have like a social hour, after the group where people can stay and talk, or we might go out to dinner somewhere nearby. So that's kind of like how we have our in-person meeting. So that's just the first Wednesday of the month at the Henderson Equality Center. And then the third Wednesday of the month, we meet at Ross and Neal Psychiatric Hospital. So for that one, it's the same thing. We meet in person. We have our check-in. Everyone goes around, introduces themselves, kind of says how they're doing. We always highlight a positive for the week in our groups because it's hard when you have depression and bipolar disorder. You think, there's nothing great going on in my life. And I always tell people, I made it to group. If you can't think of any other positive, I made it to group is always a great positive, So
the ones on the third Wednesday of every month, they're also from 6 to 7:30?
Yes.
Okay. And then is it the same sort of format that afterwards you go out and try and have a bite to eat or something?
Yeah, if persons, have the time or if they want to, it's not mandatory, just to have that social aspect in the group as well.
Great. And how many people attend these groups? Does it vary, or is it a nucleus that comes every single meeting?
Well, it varies definitely depending on like the holidays or the weather. So I want to say for the Henderson Equality Center group, we have a good 10 to 12 people that come to that one, while the Ross and Neal is still kind of a little smaller, where it might be 5 to 8 persons max. Like that one is kind of iffy, but we try to cater to people around the Las Vegas area. So like with the Henderson Equality Center, that being closer to like South Vegas, Ross and Neal being on that side of town, we are looking for a North Las Vegas location to cater to our North Las Vegans and, provide that support for them as well.
Cool. And do you do any follow-ups if there's somebody that you're seeing on a regular basis and suddenly you don't see them for 2 meetings? Do you reach out and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? We haven't seen you for a couple of meetings. Or
yeah, I try to, especially for the in-person meetings, but that's when we also have our group chat as to check in between meetings. And also, like, I send out our monthly newsletter to remind people, hey, we're still meeting, any updates as far as like fundraising or events coming up. I try to get the word out there. We have our social media pages. So we do try to make sure people are informed about the group. And we try our best to stay connected for sure. Like if it's not me, other individuals who might have gotten connected through the group, they might check in to say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? And, we just kind of go from there.
Okay. And there's no fees to attend these meetings?
No fees or pre-registration required. Okay. All you have to do is show up.
Just show up. And
yeah.
you'll welcome them into the group.
Absolutely.
That's nice. Now, you also have Zoom meetings as well for those that can't attend the ones in brick and mortar. Now, how often do you have those?
So we have our Zoom meetings every Thursday, the same time, 6 to 7:30 p.m. They follow the same format, check in, maybe have some discussions, and, close out with, words of wisdom, or maybe something that they learned, or just discussing different questions, stories, topics, whatever kind of comes up naturally.
Okay. And is there somebody moderating?
Yes. Yeah, so I personally am the in-person group facilitator. We do have a Zoom facilitator as well, and he does a great job.
Cool. Now, do you have, well, first of all, if somebody comes in on a Zoom meeting and they're from out of state, let's say somebody just suddenly found out about you from Indiana and they tap into your Zoom meeting, can they join, or do you turn them back to national
No, absolutely. They are more than welcome to join our meetings, because we've had a few members who are on Zoom that are from out of state who might not have a DBSA chapter in their area or not know of the resources in their area. So we have a few members who tune in from all over, actually, not just Nevada.
And sometimes they might just tune in and find a comfort level.
Right, yeah.
They like the people in the group and okay, stick with us, and maybe that's part of it. Do you have any support groups for the loved ones and family members of people living with bipolar?
Yes, we have our allies and supporters group meetings on Zoom as well, but those meetings are the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. Same time, 6 to 7:30 p.m., the same login information for our Zooms. The password and the meeting ID are on our website. And like I said, the same thing, you don't have to pre-register. You could just join and, have that safe space to talk and, ask questions, share stories, try to get advice. We do work out of a bipolar's book that we, do our education portion on there. I always recommend resources to parents, friends, family members, so that way they can better support their person, because it is a not very common thing, 100% that not everybody knows how to, handle.
Yes. Now, do you get many people tuned in, your alliance and support groups? How many people tune into that?
Yeah, so that one we just started in June of this year, so we're still building that one. So it's mainly like 5 people who maybe come to that one. So we still are, trying to build that up, because I want to say our regular Zoom meetings that we would have in person and Zoom, supporters are welcome to come to that one as well. But when we notice that, that they will be coming and it will kind of be hard if, the person you're supporting and them are in the same meeting. So they both need to have a separate conversation to try and figure out how best to, support each other in that sense.
And the allies, when they have their meetings, are they reaching out more for questions or to share difficulties that they're having living with somebody with bipolar condition?
Yeah, it's for both.
Combination of both.
Yeah, it's definitely both. So me and my father actually co-facilitate that meeting, since he's been on this journey with me the 8 years. He's been a great resource. And even though he doesn't live in Nevada, he logs in from Maryland, which is, where he's residing. So he kind of helped me through all the different stages and seen, from beginning to where I am now, and just is able to advise those from a supporter standpoint.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then there's one other thing, group chat.
Yes.
You have, what is it, MeWe or?
Yes. So the group chat that we have is called MeWe. So it is a social media app. I say that in quotes because it's not connected to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you look at it in the App Store, it does say social media app, but it's more so like a global kind of group chat type of thing that, has a bunch of different groups on there. So you just join. So for our group, you just kind of have to answer the 3 questions to get joined into our private group. Not anybody can just join the group, the admins.
Okay,
we kind of, try to see, okay, is this person, have they been to a group? What's the situation, as to how they found us, things like that.
Okay. We're going to take another brief sponsorship break. Please stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at pacificcoastcap.com.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Here comes a triple yodel. Adi-yodelay, oh,
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us, and welcome back, Brianna Hines from DBSA.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us again today. And at this point, we know that you are a national organization, so we should probably give out the information of the national organization itself.
Yes. So our national headquarters, their website is DBSA, but then the rest of it is alliance.org. So that is our national website where you can find resources about depression, bipolar disorder, other mental health resources, and also find, if you're not in Nevada, you can look at the different states, the different organizations or DBSA chapters that are around the U.S.
Okay. Now, when you say it's DBS, it's really DBS Alliance.
Yes.
Not DBSA Alliance. There's
right,
not
yeah.
two A's. So
Sorry about that.
no, that's okay. And I'm sure John, our producer, will put it on the screen as well. Now, do you have much communication with the national organization? Do you get much guidance from them, or feedback, or interaction?
Yes, absolutely. So they host workshops, I want to say twice every couple of months, for facilitators specifically to kind of help us, come up with questions or, to give us that, guidance. Because it is, a little difficult because we are just peers. We're not professionals. We're not therapists,
Sure.
So they do have our own facilitator training through nationals. We do have, like I said, suicide prevention workshops, or like the DBSA facilitators, our think tank workshops. So that way we as facilitators can say, okay, I'm not sure how to handle this situation. Let's throw it out to other facilitators who might have had a similar experience, and we just learn from each other from there.
Yes. There's great network.
Absolutely.
Great network, especially when it's national, because you can exchange experiences and they're not all the same. People experience different things. What would you say is the biggest challenge facing your chapter here in Southern Nevada? Do you have any major challenges that it's just difficult to deal with?
Well, keeping the group going, as far as, say if I'm having a bad day or one of the other leaders is having a bad day, which happens. Like, we are still persons who are living with these mental conditions, and some days are just better than others. So we try to support each other best we can, and so that way we can support the community. But that was definitely the biggest challenge, because it's hard enough for us to do our daily lives and then taking on this volunteered role, even though sometimes we might be depressed or we might be having a little elevation. And it's like, okay, communicating that to the rest of the team to try to, see if we can, work it out. So that way the group doesn't, suffer because one of us is having a bad day.
Well, I'm sure there have been times when it's 6 o'clock on a Tuesday night and you've got to host a meeting,
Yeah.
or on a Thursday night and you just haven't felt up to it. I'm sure there's been plenty of occasions. Do you just put on a smile and a happy face and muddle through?
For sure. But also we, keep it honest with the group members when we do our check-in and say, okay, I might be having a bad day. And it's just like the same thing. Like, we definitely are transparent with them and they understand. And that's the beauty of the group, is being around others who completely understand.
They can relate to what you're going through.
Absolutely.
No question about it. Yes,
Yeah.
that really helps. Now, Is yours an all volunteer organization? Do you have any paid staff on?
No,
Okay.
no paid staff, all volunteers.
All volunteers, that's amazing.
Yep.
And you have a nice solid group of volunteers that help with the website, help organize the meetings and facilitate it.
Yes, so part of our national organization, they recommend having between 5 to 7 e-board members. So for our chapter, we have 6, and I love them. They are great. We all work together, to keep the group going. Like I said, update the website, keep the groups, facilitated, help each other out during meetings. So even if, say, for example, me as the facilitator, one of my e-board members, if she's there, she'll help, pass out information, help people check in. So all those little things, help us together keep the group going.
Cool.
Yeah.
And now, how do you actually get funded?
So we are working on getting grants for our chapter as well as sponsors, and we're trying to do fundraisers. So I know for me, being president these last 2 years, the first year I was definitely just trying to keep the group going. So now that I'm in my second year, I'm like, okay, we can try and do more, which is why we're doing, more social events, like our vision board event in January, since it is the end of the year. It's kind of something, fun and interesting to help people get in the mindset of, okay, it's a new year, let's do some goal setting. But we are looking to get sponsors and fundraising off the ground this year.
Okay. Do you get any corporate donations at all?
That's the thing. So with our group, yeah, we do accept donations at our meetings, and you can donate online via our website, DBSA-SouthernNV.org. But as far as actual funding, yeah, our e-board, we kind of handle everything ourselves right now. But, that's a temporary thing. We are a nonprofit, so we are trying to get more opportunities, out there.
Yes. And do you have planning fundraisers this coming year in 2025?
Yeah, so one of them that I was looking at was through Walmart. So either, how when you check out, it's like, okay, do you want to donate to this organization? You'd be able to donate the remainder of, your bill or, any donation that you want to have. But also I was thinking about doing a table out front of Walmart, with our pamphlets, information, sell little trinkets like keychains and, pins that you could wear, pins that you can write with, stress balls. Like I have a whole idea of like how we can do some good fundraisers for the community and give them good resources as well.
Yes. It sounds like you've got your work cut out for you, but
Absolutely.
seeing as you've only been in the position 2 years, you've done a remarkable job of
Thank you.
keeping it afloat. And,
Yeah.
Before we leave, would you like to give out the information of where people can get in touch with you, your phone number, your
Yes. So
Instagram, your website?
Right. Yeah. So I had to bring it up because I was like, oh, I forget. So the contact information, our phone number is 702-625-0495. So you can call or text that number. That goes directly to me, the facilitator. I try to get back to people via text or phone call as soon as I can. Our email is dbsasouthernNV@yahoo.com. Our website again is www.dbsasouthernNV.org. You can follow us on Instagram at so the @ DBSA_SouthernNV, and then you can like us on Facebook at DBSA Southern NV.
Cool. That's good. Just about all the information, I think.
Right.
So hopefully you'll get a lot of new members or people willing to support or help.
Yes, absolutely.
Hopefully
Thank you so
not
much.
too many, because we don't want there to be too many people out there with bipolar or suffering from depression.
Right.
But we know they exist, and our heart goes out to all of you living with this condition and battling it every day.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you're doing to alleviate the pain and suffering that these individuals are going through. It's nice
Right.
you're donating so much of your time. All these meetings, Tuesdays, Wednesdays,
Thursdays,
Thursdays,
right.
they're doing amazing work. So
Thank you.
thanks for being with us today.
Hey,
Really
thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
us. Yeah.
No, you're very welcome. And I'd also like to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in today. Hope you found this program informative. And if you know of anybody who's living with depression or bipolar, please share this interview with them, because help is out there. And we certainly have it with DBSA here in Nevada. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me, Stephen at thegiftofgiving.vegas. I'd certainly love to hear from you. I'd also like to thank the show's producer, John Stiles, and the station owner of WWDBTV for allowing me to host this program and for producing it. And I'd be nowhere without my valuable sponsors. I'm grateful for all of them. They're Pacific Coast Capital, Priority Wealth Partners, Firelight Barn, and my business partner, RJ Champion. You'll hear his message right at the end of this program. Once again, thanks for joining us. I hope you'll join us again next week. In the meantime, please stay safe, be kind to one another, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.